morning, guys. It is Sunday, May 28th. I cannot believe May is almost over. 2017 is flying by. But anyway, it is early, and here I am with my hair like this, and my freckles, and my bags under my eyes because I'm up too early. But I'm going to attempt to make homemade everything bagels this morning, and I'm pretty excited about it, so I wanted to to document it. Jimmy was also going to try to make some homemade lox, some smoked salmon, cold smoked salmon, but it turns out that you have to cure it for like ever, and then it needs to be in the refrigerator. It takes like a day or 2 days to get it ready to smoke, and then the smoking process takes like 12 hours. So we decided we didn't have enough time to do that this weekend, so we just went and bought some smoked salmon from a local seafood place in Austin called Quality Seafood, and we are gonna have some no lox bagels this morning at home. So if it turns out, wish me luck. I'm gonna show you guys how I am making these bagels. I just found a recipe online and it has like 5 stars, so hopefully it's good. I have no idea what I'm doing. It could be a total failure because I don't bake a lot. I like to bake, but I don't bake a whole lot. And this is baking. You do boil the bagels before you bake them, but still. Yeah, so here we go. Okay, so I have my stuff prepping to go. This is 3.5 cups of bread flour. So we bought some King Arthur's bread flour, and I think a teaspoon and a half of salt. We used kosher salt for this. And then you get a 1/2 cup of warm water, 2 teaspoons of dry yeast, active dry yeast, and then 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. So here you use a 1/2 cup of warm water, and the back of the yeast package said 100 to 110 degrees because if it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast. So you just pour in the yeast and the sugar and let it sit there for 5 minutes before you stir it up. So it is sitting there, and then we'll pour that into the well and start kneading it. And we're gonna have to knead it for 10 minutes. That is forever. My arms are gonna be super strong after making bagels. There's the active dry yeast activating in the warm water. And can you see it getting foamy? So interesting. Okay, so now I mixed up the sugar and the yeast, and it definitely has a smell, so I think that's good. So I'm gonna pour this into the well. And then it said to add a little bit more water. So I'm probably just gonna add a little bit to start off. This is warm water as well. And then we're gonna stir it up. Probably should have gotten a spoon, huh? Okay. We'll just start to incorporate this, and then we'll probably move to our hands and begin to knead it. Okay, so now we have to knead it for 10 minutes. This is what the dough looks like. It seemed a little dry, so I added a little bit more water. You're just gonna have to feel it so that it's kind of wet, but not too wet. Now that I'm kneading it, it's definitely starting to come together. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of copying what I see on the baking shows that I watch. So yeah, we will check back in about 10 minutes. Okay, so I kneaded the dough for about 10 minutes, and you can see the dough looks really nice. It was nice and elastic. It's no longer sticky. So I'm putting it into an oiled bowl, like so, and I'm going to cover it with a damp dish towel, and it will sit here and proof for an hour. So we'll check back in. Okay, it's been an hour, and as you can see, the dough has definitely risen. So you're supposed to do the ripe test. So you take 2 fingers, push it in. If the indentation stays, then it's ready to be punched down. So now we're gonna punch it down, and you just punch it. And this redistributes the yeast so that they can get more food sources. So yeah, punch it down, don't twist it, any of that stuff. We are going to recover it up and let it sit for another 10 minutes, and then we will start making the bagels. So I cut it into 8 pieces, and I wish that we had a food scale so I could weigh them to make sure that they're even, but I don't have a battery for mine right now, so they feel, you know, this one is denser than this one based on the thickness, so they feel pretty even. So now we have to kind of make them into a ball, which said to do it something like this. This is harder than it looks. So I'm gonna work with this and show you what I got when I'm done. So as you can see, my little balls are not perfect. Rolling them into little balls is actually a lot harder than it seems like it would be. But I have shaped one. So basically, you take this dough ball, coat your finger in flour, and then just kind of gently push it through to make a hole. And I wiggle my finger so that it kind of cuts through the bottom of the dough. And then we're going to stretch out the hole. See, I made the hole. Now we're going to stretch out the hole, and it should be about 1/3 of the diameter of the bagel. Now what does that mean? I don't know what that means. So I'm just going to kind of pull it out until I think it looks about the size that I want it to. So just going to kind of shape that a little bit. So, like so. I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna do the others and then we'll move on. So I've shaped my bagels, and this is what they look like. Clearly they're not gonna be perfect, but they look kind of like bagels, so I'm happy with it. Now we're gonna cover it with a damp cloth and let them rise for 10 minutes, and then we'll move on to boiling. While my bagels are resting, I went ahead to whip up the everything bagel seasoning mix. And we didn't have time to go to Trader Joe's to pick up it already made, and our HEB did not have any, so we just bought the stuff to make it. So basically you need minced garlic, minced onion, sesame seeds, and poppy seeds, and a little bit of salt. So it's basically equal parts of these 4. I went ahead and did 2 tablespoons of each, and then you use about 1/4 of the amount of sea salt. So I just, you know, sprinkled in some. But this is what it looks like. It looks pretty normal for everything bagel seasoning. You can also add black sesame seeds as well, and have any, and then buy any. So this is what we've got. I'm gonna whip up a little egg wash, and then it'll be time to boil the bagels. Then we'll coat them with egg wash and topping, and then we will bake them. Okay, so it has been 10 minutes. As you can see that they have risen a little. They still have their hole. So they look like bagels. They're not beautiful. But we've got our boiling water right here, and so we're about to put in our bagels. I'm probably going to do 2 at a time. And so here we go. So you're supposed to do it for about 2 minutes on each side if you want it chewy. If you don't like chewy bagels, only do it for 1 minute on each side. Okay, they are boiling, and it's been almost 2 minutes on this side, so we're just about to flip them over. I think the next batch I'm going to put in top down, so when I flip them, I'll just be ready to transfer them. Okay, so here we go. Got our slotted spoon, or our skimmer, and I'm going to flip them over. They're not going to be as pretty on the bottom. It's my first time, so you'll have to forgive me. 2 more minutes. Okay, I have boiled them, and as you can see, they are ugly as sin. They're not smooth like I see bagels at the store. However, once we get them topped and baked, I think someone would see them and know that they're a bagel. So, I consider that a win. So, to get the toppings to stick, you have to brush the bagels with an egg wash. So I'm going to go around and do that to all the bagels real quick. Alright guys, my bagels are topped, And I did the egg wash and put on my everything seasoning. I think they look pretty good, and now we're gonna put them in the oven for 20 minutes and then we'll check back in. You guys, they're done and they're gorgeous. And there's my corgi oven mitt. I'm super excited with how they look. I'm letting them cool on this wire rack, and then we're going to get our toppings ready. The bottoms don't look as crazy as I expected them to. They're really hot though. So they look good. The bottoms are browned. I hope that, you know, they're cooked enough. We will see. But I think I'm really happy with them. They're so gorgeous, and I can't believe I made those. Okay, it's done, and Jimmy is going to cut into it. Make sure it's done and that it looks like a bagel.
Should have kept their bagel slicer.
Well, it's done, and I think it looks like a bagel. So now we will top it and make our lox bagels. So we've put together our Novalox bagels. You can see Jimmy is obsessed with onion, but basically it's some cream cheese, Novalox, tomato capers, and some red onion on top of my bagels. This is insane. Okay, so we're gonna try it. Okay, we're gonna taste it. That's a good bagel. We finished eating our bagels, and so now I'm deciding, you know, is the effort, the time and the effort that we put into it worth it? Yes. I think that the bagels tasted way better than store-bought. They were soft and a little chewy, which I like. That's New York style. They were not exactly fluffy on the inside, but I mean, I feel like they felt dense yet fluffy at the same time. They had a great flavor. The everything bagel topping was really good. I loved it. Yeah, I totally loved it. I would do it again. It's not something that I would do every weekend because it does take quite a bit of effort. And honestly, I think the hardest part was trying to get the 8 pieces into the dough balls. And clearly, like, my bagels looked like bagels, but they weren't perfect. Like, the bottom was not completely flat. It had like nooks and crannies or whatever. So I'd like to work on that and see what I can do. But for a first time, like, nailed it. Don't even care. I think they're awesome. And I'm really proud of myself, and I want to do it again. I really like the idea of baking. Baking is pretty intimidating, but it was fun, and I liked it, and my arms are already stronger, so that's another thing. Yeah, so homemade bagels, thumbs up, definitely. I've linked the recipe below, so if you feel like making some bagels, you should definitely try it. See you later.